Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this latest episode of Heresy Hammer. It is April's community show, and it's getting towards the end of April. But I am joined by Lee, and my name is Rob. Lee, how's it all going? You all good? You're not going to do the kids have gone back to school now. You're going to look to do some
Yeah,
hobby this
we
week.
we were just talking off camera now. I have had a horrific 2.5 weeks. I sound like I hate my kids, and I do. So yeah, it's been fucking awful.
That is an accurate assessment. Yes.
Um, yeah, it's been tough. It's to be fair, like me and my good lady. Isabella was saying that this has probably been the easiest holidays we've had, which
Okay.
doesn't say much because we've had some horrific ones where we questioned our life choices.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they're back to school today, so I finally get to work on some dudes that I've been working on. Can you see that?
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, here
Some
they are.
fucking
Mark Five.
Mark V Iron
Right.
Hands. Can't really zoom
Iron
in.
hands. Oh, these are your traitor iron hands, aren't they?
Yeah, boy.
You're loving it, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, they're so
Yeah.
fucking easy to paint.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah. Yeah.
black, done. Um, so yeah, I've been working on that. I actually have managed to get all that done whilst the kids have been on school holidays, which is a fucking miracle.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Um, so yeah, that is my start. Although I am now like, it's funny, isn't it? Like the reason I came up with the idea of Iron Hands was because we read the Mechanicum lore and it talked
Yeah.
about the traitor Iron Hands, and I actually had so I'm fucking going from story to story here. Uh, I mentioned it in the WhatsApp group, and I think it was Matt Fuller that was like, "This is bullshit. Where's the fucking fluff for that?" And I just screenshotted the Mechanicum Rise of the Dark
Yeah.
Mechanicum like Force Org for the traitors, and it's like Traitor Iron Hands. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, fair one. But now I've started doing them, I'm a bit like, oh, I don't actually have a loyalist army, and I haven't played loyalists in fucking years.
Yeah.
So the whole reason I started Iron Hands was to do the loyalists based off that story. But now I'm a bit like, oh, do I
Yeah.
just run them as loyalists?
They could be used as both, I guess, couldn't they? Yeah.
Well, if I do them as traitor, I'm going to cover them in Sons of Horus symbols.
Oh, interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so no, not really.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I think I'm going to stick with traitor. But
Yeah.
I
Traitors
I
have
did.
more fun, right? I think that's.
Well, yeah. I just fucking love the idea that there's obviously not much fluff about traitor Iron Hands. Obviously, any legion can be traitor. But I just kind of love the idea that they were so sickened by the fact that their father was weak as fuck that they've gone back to Horus, like these kind of Terran
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Iron Hands that are like, oh, dad was weak.
I
Let's
like
go
that.
to someone
I,
who's not
I
weak.
always think an easy way to kind of like swap things out might be to rather than doing like committing fully to like transfers all over the army, your sergeants and your characters, you can have like more traitory like ones and then more
Yeah, but
loyalist
there's
kind of like ones.
a clan emblem that has the Eye of Horus in
Uh,
it, so I was going to use the clan emblem
got it, got it, got it,
on
got it.
them. So, like I say, if I commit to it,
Well, you've got some difficult moral choices to make, I
well,
guess.
I think I'm going fucking traitor. Like, yeah. But
Fair enough.
I did think for a little while of like I haven't done loyalist in a while, but then I like being the bad guy. I think
Yeah.
because I'm such a good guy in real
Oh
life.
my
You
God,
know
you're the
what
complete opposite. You're the exact person who takes on like the persona of the Legion, right? That's it.
I
Or the
mean?
Legion takes on the persona of you.
Jesus, I
Um,
think I'm a good guy.
I've always thought it odd that you've never started Night Lords, to be honest. That's always right. Anyway, well, what have I been doing? So I just got back from America,
I was
so I
gonna
did
say,
my
yeah.
my walkers course, which was a jolly good fun. 21 people on that course, I think. So
All
it was
right.
it's the biggest course I've done so far, and then to
How
do
was
that.
America? Were they all
Yeah,
tearing each other to bits,
no,
screaming
well,
MAGA at
no,
each other?
no. I mean, you got to
Uh,
be careful what you say, otherwise you get cancelled by the right as well as the left nowadays. But
yeah.
so it was. So California is a fairly liberal state.
Okay.
So I think that the Californians, as a this is a very stereotype, sort especially from the Silicon Valley
Yeah,
area
I grew up
and
with
San
some lads
Francisco.
from California, actually.
And I think that they're fairly the place I went was fairly liberal, so I think they're all sort
Right.
of like weeping that that America is seems to be on a some sort of mad tariff
Yeah.
downward spiral.
Yeah.
But this is not for politics. The only
No.
politics we're interested in is the politics of the 31st millennium. So we'll move swiftly on. But no, it was good. Did the course in Boulder Creek, and then
Who ironically also place crippling tariffs on
they are
planets.
on
There you
planets as well. Yeah, that in part caused a civil war. Him and his tax collectors. And then I went to San Francisco to eat lots of food.
Oh,
So
nice.
that was great. And then came back on. Well, I left on Wednesday and then came back on, and then arrived on Thursday. And the jet lag, if you've ever done it on the way back, it's always horrendous
Right.
on the way back, and I can never
Yeah.
sleep on the flight. But apart from that, not much else. Got lots of commissions on the table. Just start a new television series while I was on the flight though, called Dark, which is on Netflix, which is like a German television series
Right.
that is like based in a small town with a nuclear power plant, and it's kind of like it started off like I guess like a murder mystery or a missing child thing, and then turned quickly into like a time travel thing, and was like
Oh, right.
it is the most complicated television series I have ever watched.
Oh, right.
And But yeah, I can
Sounds
definitely recommend
horrific.
definitely recommend checking that out. Like,
I'm not
yeah.
watching anything at the minute. I was going to start the second season of Andor, but everyone's saying it's shit.
Oh
So
right, no, I've not started that
the
started
first one
that
was
one.
brilliant.
Yeah,
So
the first
yeah.
one was great. Yeah. Uh,
Mm.
so yeah, but apart from that, not much else. Just yeah, trying to get him through commissions as fast as possible. So limited hobby time for myself at the moment because yeah,
What
sort of
Rob means by that is he has only produced two full 5,000 point armies this weekend.
I was as fast as I used to be. And then the other thing we've been doing is getting merchandise ready, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah.
We're getting samples for merchandise. I'm in fact wearing one. So we've gone to Artis to get some various designs made up, and we've got some t-shirts made up, we've got some hoodies made up, and we've got some other swag made up. All to test out what we're going to be doing for our next reward bundle for our Patreons, and then looking to maybe sell these t-shirts once we get a shop on the website. Sort
Yes.
about. I'll talk more about the website a little bit later on, but I think
Mm.
this one's the throne with a dying king on his throne, screaming, which I think is kind of perfect, kind of very
Yeah, I like
tarot
it.
like. So yeah, like I was pleased with how this one came out. It's good.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we did play with caps, but they were a fucking disaster, weren't they?
Yeah, the less said about the caps, the baseball caps, the better. Really, I've got them back there, and I'm not really sure what to do with them.
Just
Maybe I'll
burn them.
give them away as like wooden spoon prizes to people,
Fair one.
because they are not they don't look good. Right, okay. Anyway, but let's keep it moving. So yeah, as I say, it's April's community show, so we've got a few things to show you,
Yeah, not as
but not
much.
not not a lot. And then we've got some emails and then some stuff that's been going on in terms of your guys' hobby. Quick thank you though to Sacris Mundus, who creates absolutely awesome terrain. So if you're looking to kit out your board, then do that. Me and John did a whole episode about terrain actually, so you should make sure you go check that out if
I
you're
still
looking
need to
to.
watch that
Yeah,
actually. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
it's one of our really interesting episodes actually. Next up we have Bits Monster. So if you're looking for a sprue or some bits, box broken down, or just like the whole box, then you can go over to Bits Monster, and then you can get free shipping over £25, and you can get 10% off for if you use the code Heresy. 10% off is actually pretty good. Like if you got an order of
Yeah.
£50 and then like save yourself £5, amazing. Like that's really good. So make sure you do that. It's
Quick
basically free money.
quick maths.
Yep. And then we've got Curtain Games as well, who kind of has been supporting us for a long time. And if you're also looking for new releases and new kits, paints, etc., then make sure go and check out Curtain Games and make sure to give them a follow as well. News, what's been going on? So we have launched a website. So
Dun dun dun.
this got launched at the beginning, I think, of this month, because we haven't spoken about it, so it must be this month. So the Heresy Hammer website has been launched, and now we are going to be adding more and more things to the Heresy Hammer website. We are currently in the midst of getting blog posts written up, so we're going to be doing, hopefully,
Yes.
my grand plan is to do two kind of like painter slash Legion spotlights from you guys in the community who will give us some detailed kind of responses to our questions and go into some really like old school style kind of like blog posts, and then we're going to host those. So we've sent out kind of six kind of questionnaires to six painters within the community only so far, and we're just getting them together, getting photos together, and that's going to appear on the blog. And definitely makes me think of old school Heresy. When I first joined, when everything was on a
Yeah.
blog and like
Yeah.
YouTube was really like the hobby space was really just starting out, thinking about Templars Crusade 01, but
Yes.
often like your consistent feed of hobby came from like blog posts
Yeah. I mean,
and
Instagram wasn't
forums
even
as well.
really a thing, was it? It
No,
was
no,
it
not
was
really.
just
No, no,
blogs.
no,
Yeah.
no, exactly. So, yeah,
Yeah.
wanted to go back to that. So rather than just scrolling on your reels while you're going for a shit, you can actually go to our website and read a blog post and actually get something intellectual into your brain rather than melting your brain with just like endless reels on the toilet for 20 minutes. Because
Yeah.
we all do it, but yeah, do something
Do.
good. Do something cerebral while you're going for a shit. But on the Heresy Hammer website, um, you can also find a really big feature of it is a UK events calendar. So basically, and I've done a couple of shows about this as well. We have cast our net wide. We've asked event organisers in the UK to submit their events onto the events calendar, and you can access the events through their events through the UK events calendar, and it will give it date order, calendar order, day order, however you want to view it. You can view it. It's for Age of Darkness, it's for Legions Imperialis, and it's also for AT as well. And it's really exhausted. I mean, there must be 40 plus events on there at this moment in time. When I looked yesterday at May, I mean, there were more events than there were weekends. Like you've got overlapping kind of events going on. So the UK events scene is flourishing, but as a result, this is like a centralized kind of location for it. If you know somebody who's got an event going on and hasn't yet submitted, it's really easy to submit. You just scroll down this page, the front page on heresyhammer.com, and then if you're an EO, you can submit through the Google form there as well. So make sure to check it out, and if you're looking to attend some events, make sure to check out the UK events calendar as well. Next up, we have some events. So obviously, this is the first time we've done it, but what we will do is month on month during the community shows, we will say which events have been added. Now, because this is the first month of it, we've got a lot of events, but we've just got a few here: May, June, and July. A whole load of events have been added to the calendar. I mean, just look how many there are, May. I mean, there's 3 events alone going on the
That's
10th of May.
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely nuts. So yeah, make sure to check it out because the event scene is absolutely raging in the UK right now. But as I say, as we move on, the community show will show you what events have been added to the calendar as well. Cool. Right, what's up next?
News.
So we've got 3 new things to show you today that have been released in the past or is previewed in the past few weeks. The first thing is a nice Legions Imperialis Mechanicum heavy support. I assume this is a box, and it's a similar looking box to the box that we got for Age of Darkness, just no walkers in it, and a lot more tanks. It obviously looks really, really cool if you're into Legions Imperialis. It looks really cool as well if you're into
Yeah.
making like
Yeah.
little dioramas. That me and Lee were talking the other day actually, about like actually I sent you a photo, didn't I, of the
Yeah, you did. The
the siege
Warhammer
of
World.
Magma City, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is what Legions Imperialis is like made for,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
for the like massive
It looks
dioramas that look
awesome.
absolutely brilliant. But yeah, but if you're into it, go check it out. But yeah, looks pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Yeah, they scale well.
Yeah. Next up,
Oh,
that now, whoa, this one completely blindsided the community.
absolutely left field. I was
Yeah,
not expecting this.
yeah. So we have an update on tarantulas, which were previously resin kits from what was used to be Forge World. God bless them, they've now gone now. But we've got them in plastic now, and they look brilliant. The rules remain dog shit. But we are getting some new PDF rules in the future. So maybe they're going to be
Yeah,
updated with some new rules, which would be pretty cool because
it'll be good.
these do
Yeah,
look
maybe they
absolutely awesome.
can align the Mechanicum and Astartes rules. Because do you
Let's
remember
hope.
that the Mechanicum ones were the Astartes ones were like shit. The Mechanicum ones were like these are fucking unusable.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see if we get any more Sentry like platforms because
Yeah.
obviously the original ones were like heavy bolters and last cannons and stuff, weren't
Yeah.
they? So
Yeah.
it'd be interesting. These
Yeah.
look cool, but it'd be
Yeah.
cool to see. I love the idea of them.
Yeah.
They've just yeah, the rules are
You know,
fucking just unusable at the
the
minute.
other thing I would say about this is so two things that I want to draw people's attention to. The first thing is that the targeting element, that kind of like that black rim around and then the
Mm,
parts there are very similar to what you find on like the Sakaran Arcus or the Sakaran Punisher. So I really like the theme that they've drawn in
right,
there.
okay.
But
Yeah.
also these look like the top bit, if you take away the legs that it's sitting on, the actual round circular bit looks like they could just fit right really nicely on a whirlwind
Mm,
Scorpius.
yes.
So if it could be like an alternative like turret option for the whirlwind Scorpius, making it like a normal what
Like
used
the
to be like
original
the original
whirlwind, yeah.
whirlwind.
Yeah, that'd be
What
cool.
whether their size is like that, I don't know, but they look pretty similar in size. So fingers crossed that they can it'd be a pretty cool, nice alternative. So yeah, but yeah, you like these ones?
I like these. Yeah, I have always been a fan of the tarantula system. I like the idea of it. I think it's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
I think it looks cool, but the rules have just been
yeah,
just unusable. Like
N-
they are quite literally just, and the Mechanicum rules, why they're different. Yeah, obviously it's a mistake, but they're just fucking
yeah,
terrible.
terrible, aren't
Like,
they?
like so bad. But yeah, hopefully it's good to see that they're doing stuff like this though. Like
Oh, mate, yeah.
the Sentry platforms is not in the main rule book, is it? They're the
Yeah, bit of the
what do you
legacies, yeah.
call it?
Legacy,
Legacies.
yeah.
So it's good to see that they're bringing stuff out of legacies
Yeah,
and back into the game. So
yeah. The other thing
hopefully we'll see that.
yeah, the other thing I really like is that the feet of the legs look very similar to the feet of the Dredio Dreadnought as well, actually. Like there's lots of things that they've clearly like thought about and
Little
gone, okay, well,
crossovers.
let's
Yeah.
take this and add this and then we'll make them like more legiony, which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Uh
Plus it's nice to get something that we weren't expecting.
Mate, yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
this is
mean?
brilliant. Yeah, looking forward to see what the rules are then, and hopefully we can get a few of these in everybody's
Yeah,
hand because
hopefully
they
the
could be pretty
rules
cool.
aren't terrible.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah, yeah, awesome.
okay, and then I'll probably I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, but I probably feel indifferent about it really. But basically the drop pod is being replaced by a
Mm.
new kind of Primaris size, slightly larger drop pod that can no longer close its doors. I think this is a really good example of something that's like, yeah, that's cool. I can see like 40k players getting into this. I can see it being larger, bigger scale, like all good. But it also would have been good if there'd been a paragraph saying, "Ah, by the way, although we're keeping it for heresy,
Yeah.
like, or this is going to replace the heresy one, right? Like, it's just there's just enough information to whet your appetite, and not enough information to plan your hopes and dreams around, or to kind of like know what's coming in the future. I think we were talking kind of just before we recorded, which we were saying, look, they're probably gonna it makes sense if they keep the current scale for Horus Heresy and then repackage it and rebox it and just make it for the Heresy, and then this one's
Yeah.
specifically for 40k. Um, but yeah, but what's your thoughts on this?
I mean I don't really care
No,
to be
indifferent.
honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's interesting. I wasn't expecting it. I like the idea that the doors are glued open and the train bit. Apparently, the train bit can be added, or you don't have to use that. I guess the flip side is transporting becomes harder
Oh, so
because,
it was so much
um,
harder now. Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason to keep the doors closed, is there?
No.
Other than transport.
Transport.
But
Yeah.
yeah, if you're trying to pack like 10 drop pods and all the doors are glued open, that's just like doubled the space you're going to require.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't care. I wouldn't care if they made this just like 40k and 30k. Obviously, this is missing the
The gun.
Stormbolter,
Yeah.
but I mean, if someone used this, I wouldn't cry that it didn't have a
No.
Stormbolter on
No,
it.
people aren't going around checking the inner parts of
No.
your drop pods, are they?
Um,
The other thing that we did talk about though was that I wonder how close to the size of an actual
and
dreadnought drop pod that this is going to
that
be.
is the thing. What is the size going to be? Is it going to be the same size as the old ones, or
Yeah.
because it's Primaris, is it going to be larger?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So, like, I would, in principle, actually, if it's got the same sort of like footprint size and similar to the size of a dreadnought drop pod, I could see for a short time, until they get their act together and did a dreadnought drop pod, people using these as dreadnought drop pods because they just look much bigger. Remove the insides of it, and I
yeah,
think you can just go, yeah, that's right. It will work. The footprint is fine for a dreadnought drop pod. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
yeah, I would if this is roughly the size of a dreadnought drop pod, I would 100% use this over a fucking resin one.
Yeah.
And the fact that the doors are glued open wouldn't bother me because you're only maximum going to take one or two, aren't you?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So yeah, I would use this definitely 100% as a dreadnought drop pod, size dependent. It just depends on the size. It blows my mind that we haven't seen a plastic dreadnought drop pod.
Yeah.
Like, I just think, I mean, how much is a resin one? I don't even know.
Eye-wateringly expensive, I would have
Yeah,
thought. Like,
like
well, it's got to be
it's going to
close to a
be like
hundred pounds or something.
100 quid in it,
Yeah, yeah,
like for something that deploys a
yeah,
plastic model.
yeah,
You're spending twice as much on the means of deploying it than you do
yeah.
on the actual
Model now. Yeah,
model itself.
yeah.
So yeah, oh God, I built one of those resin ones, and they're not actually that bad to build, but again, it's just resin, isn't it? It's just a big lump of
I
resin.
think that the other thing about resin is that it's much more likely that paint knocks off of it.
Yeah,
Uh,
you chip it. I mean, I
yeah,
dropped mine and it smashed into 1,000 pieces. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
which a plastic one would have just, you may have chipped a bit off, but it would have bounced rather than
yeah,
shattered.
yeah,
Oh God, yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Okay, well, potential dreadnought drop pod here if it's slightly
yeah,
larger.
it'll be
But again,
interesting to see.
I think the other one is it's difficult to. I mean, I've been told that it's bigger by people on the internet, but whether it is in reality bigger, I don't know. And the other thing I would say is that again, Games Workshop are doing this thing where it's like they've given us just enough information, but it would have been really nice to have like a side by side or like a
Yeah,
like a, a whole thing of like dreadnought drops. I saw somebody they did like a Primaris next to this, like standing next to it, and I'm sure somebody could probably like use maths and trigonometry to
yeah.
scale it to work out what the size is.
I don't think these are going to be that much bigger than the current
Okay.
drop pods, but I am just
Yeah.
guessing there.
Yeah.
I don't think they're tanks like they've done all these floating 40k tanks, haven't
Yeah.
they?
They're not
But
that
they're
much
not
bigger,
like
are they?
they're not massive, are they?
No.
They're not like true scale. They still wouldn't fit 10 Marines in the back if you broke it all down and
Yeah.
worked out where they would sit.
Yeah.
So I would be surprised, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be interesting to see. Yeah, I mean the dreadnought, the sorry, the normal plastic drop pod. I mean that's got to be quite an old model now, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Really old. Really, really, really old.
Um, but yeah, yeah, I'm like you say, indifferent. I just don't.
Cool. Okay. Well,
I don't plan on doing a drop pod force.
yeah. Yeah. Well, let us know
So
your comments and thoughts and feelings down below. And then apparently it's two in a box, which is
yeah,
which is interesting. So
Interesting.
it's
Yeah.
gonna cost like 60, 70 quid, isn't it, as a result of
Yeah.
that? So cool. All right, let's have a look. What's next? So I think we've got some work by people. So we've got some people. So we haven't got tags here because these are people submitting them on the Heresy Hammer WhatsApp group.
Ah.
So we've got Alexandru with a cool Iron Warrior. And I couldn't even
So
name all the
this
bits. This is
this
like,
is I want to say that this is the original plastic Cataphractii Praetor that came in the Battle of Calth box
yes,
set, is it?
yes, yeah, yeah.
I
It looks it
think.
like the arms, maybe, but
I
yeah.
think
This is a
the it had a chain fist originally, I think, and that's been taken
yeah.
off. I think I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, so this is there are so many parts in this that I'm not sure I could actually name them, but he's done a good job with it because it's kind of like quite a cool conversion.
Yeah, yeah.
I like the
I
servo arm and stuff like that. So yeah, no,
I
it
particularly
looks
like the dead Imperial Fist helmet
really
by his
yeah,
foot. It's done a
absolutely.
cracking
We
job.
got David Drysdale, who's come up with this absolutely amazing conversion for what I think is a Space Wolves
Space
Uh,
Wolves.
yeah, so for the Space Wolves Centurion, and I think that he's converted it into a Salamander's Librarian. And I think
Oh,
he's
okay. I
yeah,
thought you were going to say this is a Space Wolf. I'm like, he's
no
fucking
Space
green, mate.
Salamanders, no. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I
is it?
think
I thought
yeah.
this was 3D printed, but yeah,
Oh, is
maybe you're
it?
right.
Oh,
I
maybe
don't
it
know.
is. Maybe it is.
I
Maybe it
don't
is.
know. Who knows?
Let us
Oh
know.
no, you're right.
I think it is
Yeah.
this. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it is
yeah,
the
yeah.
Space Force one. Yeah, yeah, I think it is.
Fuck.
But it looks like the amount of work and effort that's gone into this
Yeah.
to make it look like this is
I
just
hadn't
really,
picked
really
up on
cool.
that at all.
Yeah. So great job.
Yeah,
Lee
he's done
hadn't
a
even
great job.
noticed. Yeah, and a
No.
great bare head choice for him for this guy
I
as well. So
yeah, and I like the fact it's almost like ashen grey, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
I like the choice of skin color. Yeah, it's
yeah.
great.
It's brilliant. Yeah, well done. Done a really, really good job on
Yeah,
that one,
yeah.
David. If you, David and Alex Andrew, if you put your tags down below in the comments, so people can give you a follow, because this
Yeah, and let
we
us
don't want them
know what
missing out
bids
on all your
you.
content. So we've got Greek Geek 75, who we featured before, with a lovely work in progress Dreadnought. He always does great work, so well done. And then we've got Whack Scars and a host of Thalax in like this lovely
Oh,
desaturated like
it's
teal color.
such a nice color in it
Yeah, like
with the white
yeah,
transfers and
yeah. The
yeah,
stripes as well, right? Yeah, it
yeah,
looks
yeah, it
brilliant.
looks
Like
fucking
I love the
great.
bases. This is really, really nice. Love the OSL. Yeah, he's done a great job with this, right? Like, yeah.
I want to say with the Dreadnought, is that like
Oh,
actually in the air?
yeah, I think
Oh, it is,
it's on
isn't
a
it? Yeah,
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 it's
yeah. I
on
can
a
see
yeah,
the plastic bit now.
yeah,
I was
yes.
like, how the fuck has he done that? Shoved the thing up its ass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
These
but
are awesome.
yeah,
Yeah,
White Scars, these look brilliant.
I
And I
yeah,
suppose like they could be used, they're not Legion specific, I guess. Like they look quite Sons of Heresy, but I think they could be used like literally any Legion and still look
yeah, yeah. They look great. I just love the color choice.
yeah. And
Those
yeah.
bases are. It's funny, isn't it? How such a simple base can just look so cool.
So good, yeah, yeah. It's got a few skulls. It really reminds me of your bases, actually. Like a few
Yeah,
skulls
yeah,
around there,
yeah.
straightforward. Yeah, I love it. Nice work. Cool. Let's have a look. What's next? So we've got Esoteric Path. So
Ah,
he's been working a lot on his Ultramarines recently. I think he showed them off at Greetings from the Warp at their most
right.
recent event.
Yeah, these are
So
great.
he's been doing some absolutely awesome work. So make sure to check them out. The if you're wondering where the sculpts are from, the 3D bodies are Logic. I don't think you can get them anymore. I think they've gone into the ether, but
Right.
the rapiers are from a diverging realm, and they're like such a good copy of the ones from the most recent like rule books and stuff that
Well, yeah, they're the Legions Imperialis version, aren't
yeah,
they?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it, yeah, and
Which
it's
I
good.
find hilarious because by the time GW release a 28 mil version,
Everybody
everyone will already
will
have
have
them.
already have them. Yeah, exactly. And what I like about this one though is that it's got a good because like the original one, it's quite hard to do much with it except on that front panel. Whereas this one, you can
Yeah,
put a nice stripe on it, a nice
yeah,
transfer on
yeah,
the
yeah.
side. Like it looks nice and clean, and you can do a
Everyone
lot with
loves
it.
a stripe, don't they?
Yeah, boy. So yeah, he's done a great job of this. So go give him a follow because he's pumping out a lot of
Yeah, these are
Ultramarines at
great.
the moment. And then we also got Ollie paint stuff. So Ollie's been featured on the channel before. He we've looked at his flyer list previously, where he's
Right.
absolutely mad for like an Apocalypse Now style like air wing. But he's now descended into the madness of an armored company by creating some absolutely awesome tanks. And like these are proper true Ultramarines
They are,
decadent tanks,
yeah.
and I think he's I don't think I mean maybe he's painted it on, but it looks like he's added some trim around them as well. Whether he's kind of put that on with plasticard or whether he has painted that on, I'm not sure, but either way, it looks brilliant.
They are the most ultramarine
Yeah,
tanks ever, aren't they?
so decadent.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
love
look
it.
great.
Well done.
Ah, fucking ultramarines.
30k hole with his lovely salamanders. I love this guy's work. I think they're absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
He's often at the oh, he was at the event that we went to in Kent.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is his army. Yeah, it looks absolutely brilliant. I don't know whether he airbrushes it or whether it's all done by hand because I have a sneaking suspicion it might all be done by hand. But either way, it looks
Interesting. Interesting.
absolutely awesome. He's got an
The
amazing
mark of a psychopath.
amazing uh yeah, it's just an amazing looking force
Yeah.
and really well put together. That trio of Phil Anderson, James, and this guy are just like an ungodly like trio of painters. And then we've also got Ben, who's also got an absolutely like awesome force. So
I love these. These are
Ben the
so
dentist.
good.
Um
So good.
so he's got this awesome Imperial Fists army, and then he's been working most recently on like a White Scars force, and White Scars are just like out of this world, and
Yeah.
like you can really see the his development in painting between the two forces as well. And I
Right.
think he's been using this like an allied detachment for the Imperial Fist,
Okay.
but this I assume is his like most recent kind of like unit, and they
Oh,
look
these look
so good.
so good.
Yeah,
Like I love the helmets with the horns.
yeah,
I love the sergeants, like the face helmet bit. Fuck knows where they're from, but
yeah, yeah,
um,
they're brilliant.
and yeah, I love the red. The red reminds me, but of something, but I can't remember who painted it. Do you remember? I can picture him. I just can't for the life of me think of his name. Who did a Thousand Suns army for the second edition release? You know when they had to
Yeah,
paint.
War Master painting.
Yes, they remind me a little bit of that. That
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
that color.
almost
Yeah,
pinky red
yeah,
kind of. Um,
yeah.
yeah, such a good job.
These are really good as well, and like
Apologies, Warmaster. I could not fucking think of
these
the
are
name.
really really nice. And you know what's even more amazing, which is I think they're probably all 3D printed. And
Yes,
do you
yeah, yeah,
remember
yeah.
like 5 years ago when people had like 3D printed armies and they looked fucking shit, and you'd look at them and be like,
Yes,
these are fucking terrible. It is
yeah,
nuts now. We live in an age
yeah.
where like this is just somebody's 3D printed force, and
Someone's
like
knocked this out in there. Well, I don't know who did these. Maybe it was someone professional, but
I think Ben does it. I think he does a lot of
in
his
his
own
in his
3D
front
printing.
room. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy, isn't it? Like it's
Um,
crazy.
I like, and it's just amazing because these torsos are like just perfect for like they're Mark III like White Scars bodies, aren't they? Essentially,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
they
yeah,
just look
yeah.
absolutely brilliant. Like they're so good.
I just love the horns. I love the helmets. Normally stuff like that I just find a bit daft, but they just work
Yeah,
so
work really well
well.
for these.
It's
Yeah,
just great.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
really, really good.
Love them. Great job. Yeah,
Yeah.
gone are the days where things are like people bringing 3D printed armies that just look fucking terrible, aren't they?
Well,
Just
they melt
like
on you. Thanks.
yeah,
Thanks.
on your other models.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks for that, Pete. Yeah. Good times.
Cool, 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 cool. Right, let's see if we've got any more, or we're going to the quest. I
I
think
think
that's probably the
that
last
that
one.
is it. That is it.
Cool, cool, cool. Right.
Some awesome looking models there.
Yeah. So we've got three emails to go through today. So we've got Mike first of all. He says, "My buddy and I have been listening to you for a while and love the show. Good, good,
Ah,
excellent. That
thank
person of excellent choice. Finally decided to reach out and see if you could help my friend with his Legion dilemma.
you.
He's been
Probably
into
not.
He's been into 40k since 2007-ish, and Space Marines were his first love. The problem he now faces is he's tried most loyalist chapters in 40k and nothing has stuck over the years. He desperately wants to get
Mm.
into Heresy, but is stuck in deciding on a Legion. A couple of things hold him up. He wants to be somewhat unique.
Special snowflake.
Yeah, he wants special Terminators and named characters. His list building will
Uh,
90% Legion specific for sure. He wants the spirit of the Legion to resonate with him personally. He's not a loud, boisterous person, so he hesitates on, yeah, well, Space Wars.
see, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I was literally thinking, well,
Space
Space
Wars.
Wolves.
Yeah.
And
And then
there it is.
how did you all settle on your first Legion? How would you go about guiding someone to the needs of the game, not the law, on picking a Legion? And how much does the Legion law spirit resonate with you? I mean, we could do probably a 2 hour
Oh
like show on this.
God, yeah.
So okay, well let's break it down. Let's go for let's do the one, two, and three first. So he wants something unique. So I guess the legions that are lesser played, that I see less often.
Space Wolves.
Space Wolves are a legion I see less often, but I don't you don't
Um,
I don't see a whole load of white scars. I don't see a whole load of salamanders. Like one or two people might have them, but they're not like
yeah,
Imperial Fists for God's sake. They're not
no,
Ultramarines. Um, those legions work well. I mean, Iron Warriors are legions that just appear all the time, but I often find that most popular legions are those legions that are slightly easier to paint, or there's access to and ways to paint them relatively
yeah,
quickly.
yeah.
I often think Iron Warriors are popular, not necessarily just because of the Legion, but because actually it's just straightforward army to just get on the table. Like you don't have to put massive amounts of effort in to make it look decent. Whereas an
Mm,
army like White Scars, I often think like to make it look good, you actually have to spend a long time not only building and converting, but also to like painting. It's a big job to paint them.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, so um, yeah, let's have a look at the next question. So, want special Terminators and named characters? Yeah. So, well, I mean, Sons of Horus have a whole load. I mean, they've got the Justarian, they've got like loads of named characters as well, right? I mean, you couldn't find a Legion with more named characters with expect except Imperial Fists. So there might be an interesting choice. I think that like teal green is quite cool. I think that they're sort of in that middle ground, I think, in terms of popularity. You
Yeah.
might go to an event and see none, and then go to an event and see a couple. So um, I always think they're pretty cool. Yeah, have you got any thoughts, Lee?
I'm trying to think, to be honest. I mean, I honestly, you read the first two bits, and I was like, well, Space Wolves. Like, you literally
Yeah,
never see them, and they have special Terminators. I guess the thing is, like, he wants the spirit of the Legion to resonate with his personality. He's not a loud, boisterous person. But you can, I guess, whenever I think of anything like this, you can make your force fit whatever fluff you want it to fit. You could run a force of Space Wolves who the Praetor is, you know, fucking born the quiet,
yeah,
and everyone under his leadership is like a thoughtful introvert space wolf. You know what I mean? Like you can
yeah. I
kind of
know,
come
I
up
know.
with
Yeah,
anything. They don't have to all be like drinking beer and having
yeah,
scraps and
yeah.
shagging wolves. Like, you know what I mean? So you can literally make any force fit into what you want it to fit into, as long as you come up with a cool kind of law. On the flip side of that, I mean, it depends. Is he like 100% it has to be special Terminators? Because Gal Vorbak are pretty cool,
Yeah.
and you don't see much word bearers, and there you could do a lot of work with them to kind of be very unique.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know.
I
Like
I so I I'd be tempted by Raven Guard for this person. Um
Raven Guard.
yeah, because you
Yeah.
do have access to special Terminators through deliveries. You've also got two other unique special units which absolutely fucking kick dick, which is the Raven's Talons and, oh sorry, the Dark Furies, and then the Morday Than. Um they're a pretty cool legion. Like
They have Terminators. What's their Terminator? The
the
death.
deliverers, those ones, the battle
Yeah,
hardened ones. Yeah, they're brilliant. Like they are a little bit lacking on special characters, but they literally have just got access to Cadius next. Like he's like got a rules rewrite, and he's got a
mm.
new model coming, and then he's got Corex as well, which I think is still one of the best looking Primarchs.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
so I think I'd probably go for like
yeah. Interesting,
what you sound
interesting.
the brief. I think I'd probably go for that. In terms of like ourselves, though, how do we settle on a first legion? That's a really tough question.
Yeah,
So for me, I was massively inspired by Templars Crusade 01 when I first got into Heresy because
yeah.
he did like an Imperial Fist army and he'd like use like weathering powders like all over them and stuff like that. And I was like, whoa, I've never seen anything like that. I'm gonna do that. So I was massively inspired by the scheme. But then my second army was massively inspired by a book choice, which was Betrayer by Aaron Dempsey Bowden. Like I absolutely like I read the book and I was like, whoa, these are awesome. And then just started up some World Eaters after that because I was just like the book has totally inspired me to kind of like create an army. And I could listen to that book
Mm.
over and over and over again. Um I mean, so that's how I would like how I've often got into it. So like inspired by a space paint scheme or inspired by a book.
Yeah. So my first Legion was Ultramarines, and I was kind of inspired by them, mainly because having come from 40K where everyone hated Ultramarines, the Ultramarines in the Horus Heresy were actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And at the time, they didn't have any Legion specific rules. So you could basically pick a special rule from, it was like, I can't remember what they were now, but you had a list of like special rules you could pick, couldn't you? Like, oh God, I can't remember what they were. But you could kind of make a force to fit your idea of what you wanted because you kind of picked
Yeah.
the special rule you wanted. They didn't actually have any Legion rules. And then interestingly, when they I just gave up on them. I just got a bit bored of not having any kind of Legion specific units, rules or anything. And then my second Legion, which was like I would say was my first proper army, like the Ultramarines were like dipping my toe into the heresy. But I never had a proper army. My first proper army was Raven Guard. And that was based very much off the fact that in a previous life I had been a sniper in the military, and that kind of resonated with me. You know, they're kind of sneaky, kind of the way Raven Guard do things was very much how I kind of did things when I was in the forces. So I liked
Yeah.
the idea of kind of art imitating life, and I thought that was very cool. Although my Raven Guard army was more like punching people in the face and shooting them from a long way away. Um, but yeah, that's what attracted me to the Raven Guard was very much just kind of the way they operated was kind of what I'd done in real life, really.
Yeah, fair play. That's pretty cool.
And then since then, I don't really know. I mean, I picked the Iron Warriors because I like hazard stripes and silver armor. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I like the way they go about their work. They're kind of grim. Like, we know we're just the fucking dog's bodies of this job, but we're just going to get on and perform this relenting, horrible siege warfare, blah, blah, blah. And like us, like now with with the Iron Hands, I just literally read, oh, you know, a traitor Iron Hands went to Mars, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Mm.
And then my brain just went off from there. So yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one to. I never like telling people like you should do this or you should do that. I think you should come up with the idea. But yeah, it's just where you get those ideas from. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think the risk is if you just start doing something and you're not 100% committed to it, you're just going to get bored and give up.
Mm.
Like if it's the rules, if it's the way they look, you know, if it's a piece of law you read, I think you need to build it on something. Otherwise, yeah, you're probably just going to be a bit like I got with the Ultramarines. I just got a bit bored of them. I was just like, this
Yeah.
is just a generic.
I
They didn't
think
have any rules.
yeah, so a couple of things to unpick there. So One thing I would say is that if your friend or anybody you know struggles to kind of like make one 3,000 point army because they're just flitting
Yeah.
between because that's definitely a thing. They're just like they just
Yeah,
get
yeah,
burnt
yeah.
out on one project. So they're just like I've had enough of this. You know, you do have an allies detachment, and those allied detachments can go on and on.
Mm,
I mean, I know that some people will disagree with me on that one, but like in the main, most people I play would probably agree. Yeah, you can have multiple allied detachments, and actually, you could have like your main force with your HQ and two troops and a couple of tanks or whatever. Then have a allied detachment of Mechanicum, and then have like a little knights and armigers like element to the force as well. So it's just all a little bit different, and everything does something a little bit different. And I think in terms of a hobby project, that's probably more interesting because you just like it's like a little meze platter. You know, you're able to try a little bit of everything. Um,
yeah.
because for some people, like a 3,000 point armory is a massive commitment, especially if they're coming from like smaller games of 40k or whatever.
Yeah.
In terms of guiding people to someone new to the game, I've thought about this an awful lot because often, like when you speak to people, they're often like, just go with something straightforward like Iron Hands or Iron Warriors. Iron Warriors rule is always just going to be useful no matter what armies that you play against, and Iron Hands is just always on. Like that's for you. You don't really have to think about it. All you have to say to your opponent is just -1 strength whenever, and it's like is constantly active. Like
Mm,
but I think it also comes to what kind of gamer you are. So are you a thoughtful, cognitive person who just like likes the mechanics of the game and you know likes to think about their strategy? If you're into like strategy games, for example, like Ultramarines is a good one because it's about using units and making them work in tandem
yeah.
with one
Yeah,
another.
yeah,
And in order to get the best out of that legion and the best out of your army, you've got to work units have to work together, and that's about positioning, it's about target priority and things like that. Or are you just somebody who's just like, you know what, I'm just here to just literally throw my guys at the enemy. I love that how the combat mechanic works, and so therefore like I just want a close combat force, be it Sons of Horus or World Eaters or whatever. I think it's difficult, that one, because I think you need to probably like understand what kind of gamer and what kind of person you are.
yeah.
But I think the safe choices that are always going to do well, no matter what army you face
Yeah.
against. Like
I mean,
you
all,
don't look at Iron Hands and go, "Y- you know what, this is going to be an easy game ever." You always go,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
they've got a tough Legion rule. This is just going to be a tough
yeah,
game because they've got
yeah.
access to pretty decent units. Like, but you can look at some, like you know, yeah, I think about Alpha Legion armies. Like, you know, you can look at some Alpha Legion armies that aren't designed for like an Alpha Strike or haven't got loads of headhunters, and you go, you know what? Yeah, sure, they're 2 inches further away, but this is just a fairly generic vanilla army. I think I can kind of like take this out or pull it
Mm,
apart, right? But just one final thing on that, like the Alpha Legion for me as a force, I quite like the color, like the turquoise color that the scheme that I
yeah,
developed. Like
yeah, yeah.
I like that, but actually, I don't go in for like the whole Alpha Legion lore meme, like
Mm.
Alpha Omega, like Hydra Dominatus like thing. I find it quite tiresome, and I find it just quite memey as well.
You don't
What
introduce yourself as Alfaris to everyone.
no, and I find it really tiresome when people when grown-ups do that kind of thing. Um,
So all
but
I've heard from this is Rob thinks all Iron Hand players are idiots and hates Alpha Legion
Alpha
players.
Legion players, yeah,
That's all I'm
me
getting.
Alpha
Yeah.
Legion players, yeah. But what I do like about that Legion is how they play, because I think in order to get the most out of them, you actually have to consider the roles of your units, how they play, how to frustrate your opponent.
Mm.
And I think that for me, that is quite a cerebral um, game trying to get the most out of Alpha Legion. You know, and that includes matching it with like war gear options and things like that to get the most out of the rules. So I think each person's individual, and I think that uh yeah, the final one I would say is that if you want an army that basically can do everything, and then you can swap in and out, and your mate can kind of go, oh, you know what, I just fancy playing this unit like this, go for Dark Angels, because basically, like each of that unit's rules can be changed 6 times, and then that person can play around with that army
Yeah,
and
yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
go like, okay, well, I'm going to give this like Deathwing today, or I'm going to give this like Iron Wing or whatever. There are some obviously choices that are more useful than others, of course, but like if your friend actually wants to stay engaged in the game, I can't think of really a more engaging kind of like army list building
So
experience than
what
Dark
we
Angels.
are advising is a Dark Angels,
Ah,
Ultramarines, Alpha Legion, Iron Hands, Iron Warriors, Allied
army.
Detachment.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it, isn't it? Yeah.
There you
I think
go.
we've muddied the
I
water
hope
more
we've
than
cleared
anything
you
else. Yeah.
cleared that up for
Fucking
you.
clear as mud.
I do think painting is a big part of it as well.
Oh,
Like
mass huge. Yeah.
I fucking loved running World Eaters, although they are literally a point and click army, or I ran them as a point and click army. Like I loved running World Eaters, but I fucking hated painting white.
Yeah.
And not because I found white particularly hard to paint. It's just you have to do yeah, oh, you have to paint everything. Like you paint a black model, you don't have to go in and do all the armor bits in between the legs and the arms and stuff. You know what I mean? It's all done for you already. You do a
Yeah.
white model, you've got to go in and paint all those
Do it all.
bits. You've got
Yeah.
to paint all the weapons, and it just takes me twice as long. And I just got sick of it. Like I just got so bored of painting white models that yeah. So that is another thing to think of is if you love painting, then it's probably not as much of a chore. If you're someone like me, like I enjoy painting, but it's not the be all and end all for me. Like I
Yeah.
enjoy doing it. I like making something look good, but I also don't get a lot of time to paint, and sometimes I just get fucking bored of doing it.
Mm.
So then the kind of how you paint the color scheme will actually have an impact on finishing a 3,000 point army or not, to be honest. So yeah, it's just something else to think about.
Yeah. Just another
So,
thing to muddy the water. So hopefully that's been as clear as mud for you. And
but come on, give one legion. Let's give him one legion that we suggest. I
I'm going to go
think
Raven Guard.
I
With his
I
brief there, I'm going to go Raven
yeah,
Guard. Yeah.
I agree. Raven Guard or what about a traitor legion? Sons
Probably
of
Sons
Horus.
of Horus. Yeah, Sons of
Yeah,
Horus. Yeah,
there you
the
go.
Raven Guard is good because like on the surface you could just deploy like a normal legion, but still have absolutely dick kicking units in the Deliverers and Dark Furies.
Yeah.
But like, but then you with time and playing that legion more, you can then start to go, well, actually these guys can infiltrate, and like that means that I can do a little bit more than I could previously. Like I think with the Raven Guard, they're a legion that can do lots of different things really well and have access
Yeah.
to really good characters and really good really good units. So yeah, I think that if you want one that can build on its complexity, then maybe
Mm.
go for that one. I also think with like Alpha Legion, it's just like you have to play quite in a complex way from the start. Otherwise,
Mm.
it's just you might as well just not be playing Alpha Legion. Like you might as well just be
Yeah.
playing generic Legion 101. So yeah,
Cool. There you go. I
nice.
hope that has helped slightly.
So Rico asks, which of the legions do you think is the best represented on the rules compared to its version in the books? Okay, interesting.
Oh gosh.
Also, which one do you think is the worst represented, and what would you change about it to make it better? So
Interesting.
blah, 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 blah. Okay, I've got a couple of worst, and then the best, I think. So two best. So two best, I think, is Dark Angels,
Okay.
and World Eaters.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I think that probably goes with the whole shebang. Like with the World Eaters, I think that their war gear, their Kadir weapons, their rites of war, their characters, their special units, and then combined with the Legion rule, I think it just really um matches all together really nicely to create something that I think actually would come out of Aaron Dempsey Bowden's Betrayal. Like I read those rules, I'm like, yes, that is exactly how they should be playing, and that's
Mm.
exactly what like my expectations of the rules. I think they meet really really well.
Yeah,
And
interesting.
I like stuff like you know even the small details like oh if you got Angron in the army can't take
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Orchard like just stuff like that
Yeah.
I think is really really nice. I think Dark Angels is good. Not so much because of their rights of war, um, but I just love the idea that the complexity of the wings, and the way that the army is made up represents actually the complexity of the Legion, and the fact that the
Mm.
Legion was is the way it is because it was designed originally to be a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that that really encapsulates the Legion really well. Now, how you deploy that on the table is a question for the player and the player writing their list. But
Mm.
actually, I think that it takes quite a complicated, murky picture of the way that the Legion was designed in quite a secretive way. And they talk about it in the books, the fact that it's the first Legion and they were quite insular and like they only need to rely on themselves. And I think that it does that quite well,
Mm. Mm.
all combined with quite cool Legion units that I think represent what the spirit of the
Yeah.
Legion.
Yeah. Yeah. No, agreed. Yeah.
Um, in terms of worst,
Ooh,
Night
I can
Lords for
think of
me.
one. Oh,
Um,
really?
but Night Lords in terms of its buffs to like vehicles and stuff, like
Right.
it
Yeah.
makes no sense to me
Yeah.
that and it's one of my big gripes about Night Lords is that they get rules for like outnumbering on vehicles. Like what?
Yeah.
Like a legion that is famously about sowing terror or sowing
Yeah.
discord through terror,
Yeah.
making examples of humans, taking down like just it's literally it's all about terror tactics.
Mm.
Like it doesn't make sense to me that they would gain buffs to to those things. And I also think that stuff like prey sight is interesting because prey sight is like an idea from the original trilogy,
Night Lords trilogy.
Night Lord
Yeah.
trilogy, but it's
Yeah.
like a technological. It's not Preysight isn't like a genetic thing. Preysight is a
No.
technological thing that those Marines use. And I've always just been like, well, if they have access to it, then everybody should have access to it, right? It's just never made that much sense to me.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. There's some things that do get kept within legions,
Yeah,
and then I guess you could argue, like, yes, it's a technological thing, but they've used that technological thing alongside
yeah,
their like murderous ways to
yeah.
then make it
I
more
yeah.
murderous.
I think my issue was really with the outnumbering of vehicles. Like I love the idea that they outnumber in infantry and then they can bully
Yeah,
them and then like I think
I'm not
that is
sure how
just
you
spot on.
scare a tank.
No, and that's the thing. And then
Yeah,
my
yeah,
second one
yeah.
is Sons of Horus.
But
So I thought in the first edition, by the time we got to the end of the edition, Sons of Horus were like on point. Like they, for me, like having +1 to hit with anything within 12 inches with like rapid and assault weapons, having additional buffs. I think they had in like close combat.
yeah,
Um, like for me that really encapsulated that the ferocity of the Legion. I think the -1 strength for the weapons really does not for me match the
what they're about.
savagery and the
Yeah,
brutality of the Sons of Horus. Like I think it's funny because we often talk about like Space Wolves being savage and brutal and some other legions as well. But like they were the most successful of all the legions. Like
yeah,
they were the Lunar Wolves and they were the Sons of Horus for a reason. Like, and I think that we just do not see. They're talked about like all the other legions talk about the Lunar Wolves. Like no other legion is the Lunar Wolves. Like sure we're good, but we're not Lunar Wolves good. Like
yeah,
those
yeah,
guys, they're the best of the best. And I
yeah,
think that you don't I think that rule, that -1 rule, just doesn't really encapsulate for me the ferocity of the Legion, their success that they were as a Legion, etc., etc. Like, I think they've tried to bring it in with characters, but I'm just like, you know, I think it just needs a bit more. It needs almost like fleshing out. Like, but you can't be greedy. That's the problem. You can only have one thing. You can't have more. Yeah, well, I
yeah.
mean, you can only have one thing, but then Night Lords get multiple things, right? So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Go on. How about you though? I've talked long enough.
So I agree with the Dark Angels one.
Yeah.
I think they have done a good job there. I would say the only thing with Dark Angels is it can become very complicated
Yeah.
very quickly. So I
Like
guess that
like the
put
Legion though, right?
well, yes, but I guess it puts off more casual players. I
Yeah.
don't know. Um, I would pick. Oh, represents the rules. So my immediate uh, thought was word bearers.
Yeah.
Um, I like the fact that the Legion rule is just a bit meh. It's
Yeah.
just a bit like, all right. But then you scratch the surface of like you start adding in rights of war and you
Yeah.
can add in characters and suddenly, you go from a kind of meh Legion to a bunch of like religious fanatics, which
Yeah.
is exactly what they are.
Yeah.
I can't think what the is it the Brethren?
Yeah. Right.
Rite of
Yeah. Right
War,
war.
where you
Yeah.
can kind of buff units when you kill certain things. Like I really like the idea that you can just buff units through praying to the dark gods,
Yeah.
and then you can add in certain characters that can add
Yeah.
in
That's true.
demons.
Yeah.
And
That's cool. How about Legion? You don't think? Um.
and this is uh kind of close to my heart, but I think the Iron Warriors is a bit shit.
Interesting. Whoa.
Yeah,
That's a controversial
yeah,
choice.
yeah, yeah. I don't see why they're better at blowing up tanks and vehicles.
Yeah.
Like that, it just like I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like their original rule was they could not be pinned
Yeah.
or from shooting.
Yeah.
Was it they couldn't be pinned? They didn't take morale checks from shooting,
Yeah.
which I think
That was
100%
right. Yeah.
represented
That's
them
right.
so
Yeah.
much better because that represents them. Their job is to just walk into sieges and get
Yeah.
shot to fuck. And
Yeah.
I think that represented the Legion so much better
Yeah.
than uh, than just being able to blow up tanks easier. Like
Yeah.
I don't get me wrong, I like the rule. It's a
Yeah.
good rule, but
Yeah.
I guess you could argue like, oh well, they're experts in technology, but so are the Iron Hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't get why they're just suddenly better at destroying vehicles,
Isn't that
dreadnoughts.
interesting? Yeah, that's interesting because I would have been like, yeah, that seems kind of like vaguely fitting for it. The other one,
I I just yeah, I think their
yeah,
rule was so much better in first edition.
yeah, I like that.
And
Yeah,
not necessarily better in games, but in terms of representing the Legion,
yeah. So what
like
I'm
I
gonna
just thought it was
say
so
a little
much
bit of
better.
swap, which is that what you've described there, no morale checks from like shooting or
Mm,
reactions, right?
mm.
Um, would I think fits better for Death Guard, and then
Okay, yeah,
the
yeah,
rule that
yeah.
exists for Death Guard currently, which is that they can
Would be
move and shoot, I would move to White Scars because what I
okay. Yeah, yeah,
what the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the problem I find with White Scars and playing against White Scars and playing against Death Guard is I just sort of scratch my head with Death Guard and go, these guys are the masters of movement. Like they can move and shoot,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and like
No,
I wish
actually, yeah,
what
yeah, yeah,
White
yeah,
Scars can
yeah.
only that what
I
they
would
wouldn't do
say
to be able to
I would
move in that
actually
way.
say Death Guard are one of the worst represented, and I say they have always been one of the worst represented because the whole thing of Death Guard is they're meant to be resilient, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
They're resilient,
yeah.
but what that actually represents on the tabletop is they're quick as fuck.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's the problem, isn't it? They're just like, oh, I can like move seven and then like shoot my las cannon. I'm like,
yeah,
and like I understand it because what I suppose what they're trying to do is that like remorseless advance, isn't it?
yeah, but it
But
just
like
means
you're
they're really
right,
quick.
yeah, but that's which is their whirlwinds can
And I
move like
know, like,
14
oh,
and then
they
shoot at the shoot their
like, oh, they
super
can't
newborns.
run, but it's like they don't need to fucking run. Like, they can
Yeah,
still move and shoot all their heavy weapons or what.
exactly, yeah. So
Um,
it's interesting that one because I think yeah because I always like so when I play pool and he's like oh I'm going to move this tank 14 or 7 or
yeah,
whatever
yeah, yeah, and then
but also it
fire
can still do
everything.
its full
Yeah,
rending round. I'm
yeah,
like
yeah,
geez
yeah,
like what
yeah,
wouldn't White Scars give to have that so
yeah.
but I think you're right like in many ways as you say they're remorseless but it's about survival and resilience and like perhaps surviving morale checks is good no pinning but also that -1 strength thing that the Iron Hands have I think is just as good
Yeah, I mean
as
it's
well.
hard, isn't it? Because they're resilient against toxins, and how do you
Yeah,
represent that in the
yeah,
game? Because it's
yeah,
so rare to see things
yeah,
like that. But
yeah,
yeah, I just feel like they've They're just
Or just a
quick.
flat five up, feel no pain on
Like you
everything,
just
right? Yeah.
drive your tank across the tabletop and then still shoot every weapon
Yeah,
is
yeah.
and it
What?
can't be stopped because
Yeah. What
fuck.
wouldn't White Scars do, eh? For
Yeah,
such a
yeah, yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I do think yeah, Death Guard is pretty poor, but I feel like I can't exactly remember their rules in first edition, but I
No,
feel
I
like
can't.
it was much the same. I feel like they were still pretty quick, and it was
Yeah.
like, this isn't
Yeah.
how they're meant to be.
So long since I played, I don't have a rule better to hand. But
Oh no, yeah.
yeah, let us know and let us know what you think as
I
well, because it's such a good question, that, which is like, does it match our expectations, and what tweaks would you do? And is there also, would you swap any legions? Like, I would swap White Scars and Death Guard, not around maybe, but I definitely do some swapping within the
yeah.
legion.
I
But
So one thing I will say, and I know this is talking about legions, but this is one thing I found with the Mechanicum now, is
mm,
I feel like the Mechanicum has lost some of their flavor
yeah,
by the fact that your force's flavor is chosen by your kind of arch magos.
yeah,
But all the units are just kind of generic Mechanicum
yeah,
units. Like,
yeah,
yes, okay, if you take one, then your Castellax becomes scoring, etc., etc.
yeah,
But I just feel like they've lost some of their flavor.
yeah.
Like before, if you took oh God, what was it?
Reductor,
Reductor, you basically had your own force org. You had
yeah,
all these extra rules that linked into. I'd have liked to have seen more of that rather than none of it. They've taken
yeah,
all of that
yeah,
away. I would have rather every kind of sect of the Mechanicum had their own force org chart and
yeah,
their own special rules,
yeah,
like a Legion
yeah,
rule,
yeah,
for rather than one character has that flavor and then the rest of the army
yeah.
is just generic robots.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I think that is fair. You know, Reductor being exclusively, yeah, if you want Myrmidons, you've got to take Reductor or whatever. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's just fine.
like Reductor in first edition, Reductor Thalax were way better
Yeah,
because Reductor created the Thalax. They were
yeah,
the ones that designed and made them.
yeah,
Or at least designed the original version. So it's
yeah,
like, well, they should be better because they're the ones that created them. And
yeah,
yeah, I just feel like they've moved away from that, and it's now you basically have one character who's fluffy to whatever you've chosen, and then the rest of the army is just slightly
yeah.
generic and
What?
might get little
Yeah.
buffs.
What we'll have to do is, before third edition releases, if it ever releases,
What we would like to see.
what we'll have to kind of like
Legion traits.
Legion traits that actually we
Yeah.
think best represent the Legion, and give
Yeah,
it a go.
yeah.
And then I think that will create a lot of debate and also a lot of anger
Yeah,
towards us as well.
that's a good idea. Yeah, we thrive off anger towards us,
So
so
this is the problem, that people
makes me
put
feel good.
comments, rude comments, and they're just like, "Oh, you're totally
Yeah.
wrong." I'm like, "Yes, feed me your salty
Oh,
tears. I've got
yes. Like bathe in your
feed me
salty
that
tears.
algorithm." Blah 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 blah. Like, yes. So there's no point doing too many angry comments
No,
because it
yeah.
feeds us. Cool. Okay. Well, that was a great
That's a
question.
good one. Yeah,
We'll,
yeah.
in fact, we will base a whole show around that at some
Yeah,
point
I
in the
like
future.
that.
Cool. And then Agrippina asked, with the Dark Mechanic and Walkers covered in the recent lore episode, what sort of rules would you want them to have when they make the jump from Legions to Heresy?
Oh,
That is a really, really good question. When we were just doing our sort of like pre-record going through this,
yeah.
I said immediately, not fucking wounds, please. Don't give them wounds, because I can just imagine it being like 20 wounds, 2 up save, you know, absolutely something monstrous like that. I think basically
I
with a
don't have the
walker
power.
like that, I guess somewhere around like in my head, it's like a brass scorpion. That's how I kind of see it. Maybe with it, it's less chaotic things going on, but it's going to have the same sort of stats as a brass scorpion. Maybe or not such a high rolling
Yeah.
skill.
I
Um,
I
yeah,
don't know enough about their fluff. I know we did the lore episode, but
yeah,
because there's different walkers do different things, I
yeah,
remember now.
yeah.
I don't have the book at hand. Um, but I
I like
would,
to, yeah. Just add to one final thing, just
yeah,
before I let you go. Is that and I also like to see some kind of beam weapons involved. So something along the lines of what the Volkite, the Volkite Fellblade. What I forgot what it's called, the glaive. Like
Right.
I definitely like imagining War of the Worlds styles things. So
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
they've got like void shields or a 5 up armor save that's all the way round, and then like beam weapons are coming shooting from their eyes, and it's like the Volkite. Yeah, it's the glaive weapon basically, the beam weapon.
Mm.
That's the kind of rules that I would expect for it.
Yeah, interesting. I don't honestly know to like I know that's a bit of a cop out. I don't know enough about them. I remember there's different sorts of walkers and they each do different things. I think one was more shooting, one was more close combaty. I know they're meant to be more kind of AI.
Mm,
So it'd be interesting to see some sort of rule about, not necessarily having full control over them.
yeah.
Like, they react to certain like I don't know how you would do that, but
Yeah, I'd love to see an AI mechanism that is
yeah,
similar
like
to like I don't know if Gulliman still has this or used to have it, but you remember when you fought him for the first round, he was like his basic weapon skill, and then you fought him in
yeah,
the
and then he got
next round, and
better
he got better as he
because
went
he
on.
learned.
And then
Yeah.
I'd love to see if we have an introduction with AI stuff, like some serious
I
like
don't know how you would do
chat
it, but yeah.
GPT
Yeah.
learning style,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
language models where basically its weapon skill went up, or it becomes harder to hit because it's like learning from like the techniques if it
See,
survives the
something like
combat.
that would be cool. Yeah. Or like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you would do it, but something along those lines of they get better at something,
Yeah,
or, you can only target, I don't know, like heavy support squats or something because they deem them the biggest threat. And then as
yeah,
you go on, you can target different things. I don't know. Like, it would be hard to do it without making them just shit.
yeah,
But something where, yeah, you're not in full. I don't want one of these like random, like on a 1 to 2, it's this, and then it like,
yeah,
but something slightly random that you're not in full control over it because they're thinking for themselves
yeah.
essentially. I do like the idea of that. I don't know how you would do it without making them shit. That's the trouble, isn't it?
Yeah, I
That
suppose you
is
could.
the.
I suppose if you wanted to start, like, it has to start within range of somebody with like a Cortex controller,
But
and
you see,
then
I think it
perhaps
would be the
it's.
different. I don't. I think it'd be the opposite. Like you don't need the Cortex
I
controller
suppose.
because
Yeah, yeah,
because they're thinking for themselves,
yeah.
or maybe.
You'd
Yeah, I
you'd
don't.
have
I
it
don't
the
know.
similar rules. Well, I suppose the basis and the precedents they've set is the shackled Malefic. I've forgotten what it's called, Malefica or something.
Yeah.
From the the Dark Angels special
Oh.
AI
Okay.
robot.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you've got like a kill switch that you can buy for like a tech marine or whatever. If you do need to
Yeah.
switch it off, you can do. And
Because
so
it.
you'd want something maybe like that, which is if it attacks your own guys, then maybe there's some kind of kill switch that you can use.
Yeah. 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 Something like that. Something slightly different to what we have now. Like, don't just do a generic. Like, don't just make it another night. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like. Um, yeah, but how that would look, I am not a rules writer. Like, but yeah, something. Yeah, I don't like these. Like each turn you roll a d6.
Yeah,
On a
something
one to
random
two,
happens. Yeah,
it's a +1 this. On a
yeah,
6, it's a minus this. Because you're just like, ugh.
yeah,
Um, something you can kind of plan for, but also
yeah.
I don't know. We just
I like
want
it.
everything, don't we? We
That's the
just
problem.
want
We're not rule writers, but we are
fucking
certainly harsh critics of rules
everything.
writers, is what I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool. Okay. Well,
yeah.
I think that has come to the end of the show. They were all three really, really good and thoughtful questions.
Yeah,
So if
yeah,
you
yeah, I
have any
like them.
questions,
Yeah.
then please make sure to send in some questions via heresyhammer30k@gmail.com, and then
Let's
we can discuss them in the next show.
let us know what your answers would be. Let us know what your worst and best
Yeah.
Legion rules are, and what you would do with the Dark Mechanic and Walkers.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
us know.
Cool. Right, so just rounding off the show, as I said, yeah, shoot us an email, but also you can join the Heresy Hammer WhatsApp community group. The link to that is on our LinkedIn tree on Instagram if you want to join there, and you can upload all your hashtag Heresy Hammer things there as well. So just to round it off, just a final thank yous. Thank you to Battle Bling, who specialise particularly in Legions Imperialis and 80. You can use the code Heresy Hammer for 10% off. Thank you to Lee's just having a drink of water, so I can't see. Thanks
Sorry.
to Gator 3D Printing. Dan seems to be back with a vengeance. I've seen him
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
on WhatsApp groups and things like that. So if you're looking to get something printed, at then make sure you tap him up. Particularly if it's like a bespoke print or something done at you need it done at ultra 12 bajillion K. I don't know what printers are on nowadays, but it just seems to be getting better and better. And then finally, thanks to Beowulf Miniature Printing as well, who's been a supporter with us from the very beginning. I saw pictures of his. I think it was the Games Expo or Salute or something, and like
Oh, yeah,
his
salute was
stall
it?
has just got
Yeah.
like bigger and bigger and
Yeah.
bigger, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's just like he's gone from strength to strength and success to
Oh, that's
success.
good,
So it's
yeah.
great to see. So well done, well done. And then finally, just a few last things from us. So just want to say thank you ever so much to our top tier Prey tours, top tier Patreon. So our Patreon has around 900 members at the moment. If you'd like to support us, you can support us from a minimum of £3 a month, which is less than a cup of coffee. So John tells me not that I drink coffee. But as we always say, if you like the content that people produce, then go and support them. And if you want them to create more content, go and support them. But these guys are the deliverers to our Raven Guard. These are our top tiers, and we are working at the moment hard. The amount of messages that me and Lee have had going backwards and forwards this month around
Yeah.
swag, for you guys has been absolutely nuts. So we are getting stuff ready. I've got something to send to Lee for him to test it out, and it's currently sitting in my hallway at the moment as well, for you guys to have a look at. But Lee is passing out and giving out those rewards for our top tier
Yeah, I got more
patrons at the moment.
coming. More getting picked
Um,
up today. I've been slacking a little bit, so I apologize to anyone who's been waiting, but I
uh,
just haven't had the chance. But I've got a whole load getting delivered sent off today,
Awesome.
all
It's
across
really cool. It's
Europe and America.
great to see like them on the table and stuff like that now.
Mm,
Like, yeah,
yeah,
the amount
yeah,
of Heresy Hammer swag that I've seen around and about at events is not even at our events has been really fun. So yeah,
yeah. It's
thank you
good.
ever so
Yeah,
much, guys. Really appreciate it. And then just the last social stuff from us. Make sure you give us a follow on Instagram. Make sure you like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment as well. Feel the algorithm. We don't want too much hate, but just remember that if you do hate us, then that's fine because we just wrap it up. Um, Make sure to send those questions and listen, and don't forget to support us on Heresy Hammer. We are available on via podcast as well. John has made a concerted effort to put some of our latest episodes on there recently, so you can go get that. And then finally, a final plug for the WhatsApp community group, which is that you can get the link via our link tree on Instagram. But you can join us there. It's probably got around 500 members on it at the moment. It's always popping off. There's always stuff going on there,
yeah.
and always stuff that you can share and discuss as well. So with that one, thanks ever so much for watching, guys. We hope you enjoyed the show. So it's goodbye from me,
Goodbye from me.
and take care, guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.
See ya. Bye bye.